Hello, ice cream friends. When you purchase a ice cream machine from Slice's Concession, one of the things that we do before we send it out to you is we set the viscosity or the thickness of the product coming out of the machine. And we get that basically like a ballpark. So your particular application, it may need to be less thick, it may need to be more thick, depending on the butterfat content and other factors and the type of machine, and lots of things come into play there. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about the viscosity adjustment on a Stoelting F131, and this is the IntelliTec 1 control. You can tell that by looking at the arrow keys on the IntelliTec controller, which is this part right here, and then the one for the right barrels over there. You can tell it's the IntelliTec 1 by the arrow keys. There's only a left arrow and an up arrow. If you have a controller that looks like this, with an up, down, left, and right arrow, that is the IntelliTec 2 controller, and this tutorial does not apply to you. So let's get into it. There's two different adjustments when it comes to setting the thickness or viscosity of a product with the IntelliTec 1 controller, and also the IntelliTec 2, but we won't get into that right now. So we're going to start off by showing you how to even get in to change these settings. So on either side of this, whether you're dealing with the left or the right, you're going to hold down the select button for about 5 seconds and then press the up arrow. That'll take you into some different menus. It's going to start off with display. We're going to press the left arrow and get into the basic menu. Then we're going to press the up arrow, and the first thing it brings you to here is cut out amps. Now, when you first put product in a machine that you've purchased from Slice's Concession, and you turn it on and you start making ice cream, it may or may not freeze down to exactly the right consistency that you're looking for. If it does, great, there's nothing you need to change. But if it's a little too thick or a little too thin, then we need to figure out where that sweet spot is to get the perfect consistency for your product. Now, we're going to have it, like I said, in a general setting, based on the product that we use. Now, depending on different things that we do around here in the shop, we generally use a powdered mix that you just add water to. It's a non-dairy, just a very simple, inexpensive mix that we use because we use a lot of it. So the viscosity setting for that may tend to be a little lower. Sometimes we use a wet mix that we have left over from different kinds of tests, and that's going to have a higher butterfat content to it. So we'll set things a little bit higher just based on the particular mix that we put in the machine. Now, when it comes down to the powdered wet mix, there's not a whole lot of difference in the viscosity setting between those types of products. It's a slight adjustment. So right now we have the general range on this set to 2.2 amps. Now, when you're freezing down the product for the first time, you could set this to say 3 amps, but you don't want to go too far. So what we recommend you do is, while you're freezing down the product, you can actually take a look at where you're at as far as what your amp draw is. So if we come back out of this menu and back to where it just says basic, and press the left arrow a few times so we get back to display, then we can press the up arrow 4 times, and that'll get us to what the temperature is in the barrel. Actually, it's reading the temperature of a refrigerant lying near the barrel and your amp draw at that particular moment. So what we'll do is go ahead and turn the machine on here, at least on the left side, and then it's going to go just into a sleep mode. I'm going to press push to freeze, and then because we turned the machine on, it kicked us out of that menu. So we're going to go back in to our display, hit that a few times, and then you'll see this is your current amp reading right here. So right now we're at 1.9, it just went up to 2.0 amps, and this is set right now for 2.2. So what you're going to do as you're watching it, if you have it set higher than what the setting that we already have it set at, you're going to watch that product, you're going to draw on the handle, and you're going to see what consistency you're at. And then as you're drawing, if you like 3 amps is going to be a higher setting than you probably need. So you'll keep drawing, and then once you're at that perfect consistency, what you're going to do is look at that number right there and say, okay, that's my number. That's perfect for my consistency. So then what you do is you just go back to display, go over to basic, and press your up arrow. Oh, I went past it. Cut out amps, and then you'll press the set button. And you can set your tenths of an amp here and whole amps on the left. And the way you do that is you just move in between using the left arrow, and then the up arrow changes. So you can just go back up through. I would doubt you'd ever have to get up beyond 3 or 4. Really highly doubt that. So we're going to set this back to 2.2. And then you press set, and set again actually stores it. So if it says set okay, you still have to press set one more time to store that. So now let's say, you're really close, but maybe another tenth of an amp might be too much, or you're not quite sure. You might need to go a little lower, a little higher, just to really dial it in. In that case, what we're going to do is go back and select a few times. So we're at exit menu, and then press the up arrow, and that will actually exit from the menu. And then you press the set key. This is your fine adjustment. If you think of this like the old style doctor scale, now maybe they still use them. Most of them switched over to digital now, but the old style doctor scale where it had the big weight that you got close to where you weighed, and then they had that little tiny weight that would slide over so you would figure out exactly what your weight is. So if you think of the first adjustment I showed you as the big weight on that doctor scale, this is the tiny weight, and this can actually go either side of 5. 5 is basically neutral. So I have this set to 5 right now. When it hits 2.2 amps, refrigeration stops, beater stops, product is ready. If I need a little bit more, I can go up to 6, 7, 8, 9. You can adjust up to 0.4 amps higher, or if you go down to 4, 3, 2, or 1, you can't set it to 0, but 1, like anywhere from 4 to 1 is actually decreasing your target. So it's going to cut out, like say you're at 2.2 and you set that to like 3, it's going to cut out at like 1.8, 1.9. And so that is kind of how you just give it a little bit more, a little bit less. So we're going to leave it at 5, hit set, hit that set okay, back to where it shows serve. Right now it's low mix. That's why it's flashing at us. But that's how you do it. So again, if you're finding that like it's based on the setting that we send the machine to you, if your product is really soupy, I would say go in and set that, that first adjustment under the basic menu, set that to 3 or so, and then let the machine do its thing. Go back into display. I was showing you before, and just watch watch your amp draw and pull on that handle, and it's the same thing for the right side. So I'm not going to take you through that change on the right side, but that's how you dial these in and hit that sweet spot, and then you'll get the product consistency that you're looking for, that your customers are going to like, and the machine's going to work great for you. If you have any other questions about dialing in machines, what mix to use, how machines work, applications for frozen beverage, ice cream, paletas, any kind of frozen dessert, feel free to contact us at www.slicesconcession.com, and we'll be happy to help you out. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.